Hello, this is Zara P. Forbes with Words to Feed Your Soul. Today I'm going to be reading a piece that I think is a must hear, that everyone should at least experience once in their life. It's not a poem, it's not a writing, it's a job application of all things. But this is no ordinary job application. This is a job application letter written by Leonardo da Vinci. So just have a thought about that for a moment. And what would a job application by Leonardo da Vinci say? Often this is a good way of finding out how how we perceive ourselves to be, and the legacy that we leave behind about ourselves are not the same thing. So this is how the man saw himself. We see himself today, he's known as this amazing artist, and his skin colours and his tones and his drawings, and so okay. This was written to Ludovico Sforza, and let's go. My most illustrious lord, having now sufficiently seen and considered the achievements of all those who count themselves masters and artificers of instruments of war, and having noted that the invention and performance of the said instruments is in no way different from that in common usage, I shall endeavour, while intending no discredit to anyone else, to make myself understood to your excellency for the purpose of unfolding to you my secrets, and therefore offering them at your complete disposal, and when the time is right, bringing into effective operation all those things which are in part briefly listed below. Number 1. I have plans for very light, strong, and easily portable bridges, with which to pursue and on some occasions flee the enemy, and others sturdy and indestructible either by fire or in battle, easy and convenient to lift and place in position, also means of burning and destroying those of the enemy. 2. I know how, in the course of the siege of a terrain, to remove water from the moats, and how to make an infinite number of bridges, mantlets, and scaling ladders, and other instruments necessary to such an enterprise. 3. Also, if one cannot, when besieging a terrain, proceed by bombardment either because of the height of the glacis or the strength of the situation and location, I have methods for destroying every fortress or other stranglehold unless it has been founded upon a rock, or so forth. Number 4. I have also types of cannon, most convenient and easily portable, with which to hurl small stones almost like a hailstorm, and the smoke from the cannon will instill a great fear in the enemy on account of the grave damage and confusion. 5. Also, I have means of arriving at a designated spot through mines and secret winding passages constructed completely without noise, even if it should be necessary to pass underneath moats or any river. 6. Also, I will make covered vehicles, safe and unassailable, which will penetrate the enemy and their artillery, and there is no host of armed men so great that they would not break through it. And behind these, the infantry will be allowed to follow, quite uninjured and unimpeded. 7. Also, should the need arise, I will make cannon, mortar, and light ordnance of very beautiful and functional design that are quite out of the ordinary. 8. When the use of cannon is impracticable, I will assemble catapults, mangonels, trebuchets, and other instruments of wonderful efficiency not in general use. In short, as the variety of circumstances dictate, I will make an infinite number of items for attack and defence. 9. And should a sea battle be occasioned, I have examples of many instruments which are highly suitable either as attack or defence, and craft which will resist the fire of all the heaviest cannon and powder and smoke. 10. In times of peace, I believe I can give it as complete satisfaction as any other in the field of architecture and the construction of both public and private buildings, and in conducting water from one place to another. Also, I can execute sculpture in marble, bronze, and clay. Likewise, in painting, I can do everything possible as well as any other, whosoever he may be. Moreover, work could be undertaken on the bronze horse, which will be to the immortal glory and eternal honour of the auspicious memory of his lordship, your father, and of the illustrious house of Sforza. And if any of the above-mentioned things seemed impossible or impractical to you, I am most readily disposed to demonstrate them in your park, or in whatsoever place shall please your excellency, to whom I commend myself with all possible humility. Wow, just the depth of the thought process of this man. I mean, they call him the first scientist. To have spent the time, I mean, we just think in learning to master art, but we're talking, he only considers himself as good as any other painter when it comes to painting. You know, we're talking about, a master artist, we know that. Then we're talking about being able to sculpt in marble, bronze and clay. So a master sculptor. Master architect, moving water from one place to another, building sea crafts, and all of this work in warfare. He really is saying he is, the Renaissance man. He knows everything, and his mind to even be able to write that is, similar to, what Musk is out there saying. Absolutely amazing. We're very lucky to have this job application, and I think to feed the soul today is knowing that, great mind when focused can achieve this much in one lifetime. Absolutely blows my mind. I had visited his house where he lived in France. I have visited the church in which he's supposed to be buried now. It was quite unexpected. One would imagine the burial place of Leonardo da Vinci to be something quite amazing, but it's not. It's actually what had happened is he was brought over by the King of France. I may be incorrect in a few things here, but I shall endeavour. And the King of France, I think it was Francis, I want to say, and at Loches, Chateau of Loches, and he in the grounds of this beautiful chateau, this Renaissance chateau, he had a church, and apparently Leonardo da Vinci was buried there. Well, after many years that church collapsed and fell down, and it was rubble, and it's now lawn. But apparently at some time, we don't know how many people were buried there, but apparently at some time some people got out and dug around, and they came across a human body. And this was assumed to be Leonardo da Vinci because we knew that he was buried in the church. So a little chapel was built at the corner of the castle. It was quite a pretty little, very small, would fit maybe, 20 people. a beautiful little chapel in the corner, and with lots of gargoyles, which is it's just quite an amazing little chapel. Well, they picked the bones up and they took them into this chapel, and in one of the apses, I think they're called, they buried it, and it's just got a concrete slab over the top of it, just saying, here lies Leonardo da Vinci. That's it. Like, nobody knows about how this man. Everybody knows how he lived or wants to imagine, but knowing how his life ended. But his house is quite a remarkable, beautiful place, and it's definitely a place to inspire one. So, I mean, for my little focus on legacy this week and what we leave behind when we're gone, it's a really good indicator of how the legacy of a man can be very different from the man himself. And it is really food for thought, and food to feed your soul today. And I hope you would give him the job given those credentials. This is Sarah P. Forbes with Words to Feed Your Soul.